It is Friday. It is the 21st of March. I'm Monita Rajpal. This is CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. We are learning more about the investigation into the missing Malaysian airliner. Just a short time ago, officials gave their daily briefing in Kuala Lumpur. Now, here are some of the key points that they revealed. They say background checks on the Ukrainian passengers on board have now come back clear. They told us that the search for the Boeing 777 continues in both the southern and northern corridors. Well, the satellite images that prompted the current search in the Indian Ocean were actually taken last Sunday by a U.S. company called Digital Globe. That's 8 days after Flight 370 disappeared. They showed two drifting objects about 23 kilometers apart. But as Brian Todd reports, clearer satellite images may still be off limits to the public.
Credible sightings, Australian officials call them. Two large objects captured on satellite photos, one about 79 feet long, the other about 16 feet.
And we were saying just a short time ago, Malaysia's transport minister said several countries are sending assets to that search area to help find the objects spotted in those photos. He also offered new details on parts of Asia that have been searched and said more background checks have been completed on the passengers. CNN's Jim Clancy is part of our team of reporters in Kuala Lumpur. He joins us now with more. Jim?
You know, Monita, as we look at all of this, and we're 2 weeks into
all right, Jim, thank you. Jim Clancy there live for us from Kuala Lumpur. Well, let's take you to Australia now. Officials had said again that the satellite photos revealing something in the Indian Ocean are the most credible lead they have. CNN's Andrew Stevens is in Perth for more on that. So, Andrew, the crews have been out, planes have been out all day today. At what point do you think they'll end their search for today and start again tomorrow?
Monita, the daylight hours, we've probably got about half an hour of daylight left here, which means...
All right, we do apologize. We seem to have lost contact there. We have some technical glitches. We'll try to fix those and bring Andrew back to us live as soon as we can. In the meantime, you are watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. Welcome back. The European Union has expanded its sanctions against Russia, adding 12 names to the list of people subjected to special restrictions. At the same time, at the same summit, I should say, in Brussels, EU leaders are establishing closer ties with Ukraine. They've just signed what's called an association agreement with Kiev. Well, as for those restrictions, Europe and the U.S., which also announced new measures against Russia yesterday, say they're going for people in President Vladimir Putin's inner circle. Nina Dos Santos joins us now live from Brussels. And Nina, these aren't exactly what the EU is doing. It's not exactly sanctions, are they? They're more restrictions in terms of travel bans and things like, and asset freezes, things like that.
They're targeted sanctions, but not full-on trade embargoes. That is a key point, Monita. You're absolutely right.
Nina, thank you. Nina Dos Santos there live for us from Brussels. Well, Russia's upper house of parliament has unanimously approved the annexation of Crimea. It completes the process after the lower house also gave its overwhelming support. CNN's Fred Pleitgen is in Moscow, and he joins us now. And Fred, so all these, the blacklist has been made up by the Americans and now also the EU, and it seems President Putin is amused.
Well, I'm not sure that his inner circle is very much amused. Certainly their reaction was a little more
Fred, thank you so
sour.
much. Fred Pleitgen there live for us from Moscow. You are watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. You're watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. The search for Flight 370 grows more urgent with each day that passes. The batteries on the plane's data recorder will eventually die and the locating signals will stop. And that will happen just over 2 weeks from now. Renee Marsh reports.
These two objects in the Indian Ocean may be the best hint yet at what happened to Malaysia Airlines Flight 370.
We will have more on the search for missing Flight 370, but let's bring up to date on some of the other stories that we're also following here at CNN News Center. The Taliban are claiming responsibility for two deadly attacks in Afghanistan. Police killed 4 teenage gunmen who opened fire at a luxury hotel in Kabul. Officials say 9 civilians also died. 6 gunmen were killed while attacking a police station in Jalalabad. 5 other people were also killed there. there. Thailand's constitutional court has ruled that last month's general election was invalid. The court says the vote did not happen in all constituencies on the same day as it should have. Nationwide protests in Thailand disrupted the elections. Turkey's government has blocked Twitter. The prime minister vowed to eradicate the social networking site on Thursday. Recep Tayyip Erdogan vented his anger at Twitter and other social media sites at a campaign rally. He says Twitter ignored court orders to remove web links. The founder of a controversial church congregation in the U.S. has died. Fred Phelps started in the Westboro Baptist Church in 1955. He and other church members became known more recently for anti-gay protests at public events, including funerals for Americans killed in military action. The 84-year-old died of natural causes. You are watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. You are watching an extended edition of CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. Hello, everyone. I'm Monita Rajpal. We want to bring you the very latest now on the air and sea search for Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. At a news conference last hour, Malaysia's acting transport minister said the search is going to be, quote, a long haul. The first Australian plane to search a remote part of the southern Indian Ocean today did not find anything. Two-thirds of the passengers on Flight 370 are Chinese. Pauline Chu has been at the hotel in Beijing where the families are keeping vigil, desperately waiting for any word of their loved ones. And for the first time in 2 weeks, the families have been meeting with Malaysian officials. Pauline, no one can imagine what these family members are going through. This is probably the most drawn-out heartache that anyone really can face right now. But they have been getting some answers finally.
Yeah, finally, although they're not very satisfied with the answers that they got today. You're right, it's been a seemingly endless wait, and one mother
thing is that
said
they're not
today,
getting the answers to the questions they desperately want, though. That is, where are their loved ones? Pauline, thank you so much. Pauline Chu there, live for us from Beijing. Annette Herfkens was the sole survivor when a Vietnam Airlines plane crashed in 1992. She was in the jungle for 8 days, badly injured, before rescuers found her. Well, the book she wrote about her ordeal is called Turbulence, a survival story. And she joins us now from New York. Annette, thank you very much for being with us. One can imagine that a story like the Malaysian Airlines flight right now, the situation that these family members are going through, certainly would bring up a lot of emotions for you when you think back to what happened to you.
It does, but it brings more emotions for my family than for me. And so, first of all, my heart goes out to the families more than anything.
So basically, it's just keep it 1 minute at a time, basically, for these family members.
Yeah, 1 moment at a time.
1 moment at a time. Annette, thank you so much. We really do appreciate you speaking to us. We're glad that you're here alive and well to share with us your story. Of course, your story also in the book that you wrote called Turbulence, a Survival Story. Annette Herfkens, again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You are watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. Just ahead. Welcome back. Both houses of Russia's parliament have now ratified an agreement allowing Crimea to join the Russian Federation. It was unanimous. All 155 senators present voted in favor of the treaty, which was signed earlier this week by President Vladimir Putin. Meantime, Ukraine's Prime Minister Arseniy Yatsenyuk signed a treaty with the European Union. It is the association agreement that so many Ukrainians demanded. When asked about the treaty, the Prime Minister told reporters, quote, frankly speaking, I don't care about Russia signing this deal. I care about Ukraine, Ukrainians, and our European future. Well, Ukraine's government is also preparing for the possibility of more moves from Moscow militarily. And as Ivan Watson reports, those who were once on opposite sides of Kiev's Independence Square are now ready to fight together. You're watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. The weather is playing a huge part in the search efforts off Australia. In a moment, we'll find out what those looking for Flight 370 can expect in the coming days. In In the past hour, we've had new information about the search for the missing airliner. Malaysian officials have told us background checks on the Ukrainian passengers on board have come back clear. They also said the search for the Boeing 777 continues both to the south and the north. More now with Maya Ramos at the World Weather Center on that. Mari?
They have very challenging conditions indeed across this area just because of the vastness of the region that they're trying to cover and the distance from the mainland. So this is about 2,500 kilometers off the coast of Australia. That dot that you see there, about halfway between Australia and Antarctica, there you see it. That's the area where in that southern part where the...
All right, Mari, thank you very much for that. So that's the view from above. Let's go underwater now. And a team of oceanographers is standing by in case they're needed in the search for Flight 370. They are set to deploy a special type of submarine, a kind of underwater drone to scan the ocean floor. Randy Kay reports now from Woods Hole, Massachusetts.
This robot submarine may hold the key to finding Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. It's called the Remus 6000, Woods Hole, Massachusetts.
Just a snapshot of the scale of the task ahead. You are watching CNN News Center. I'm Monita Rajpal at CNN Hong Kong. Thank you for joining us. I'll update you the news headlines in just a couple of minutes.